Hey, we're still about 9 minutes from broadcast time. I'm going to set up my cam. Oh, great. Hold on 1 second. Stare at the sky. There we go. Okay. There we go. Hey. Sorry about that. It's all these logistics with getting this done right. Okay, we are 8 minutes away from 5 p.m. So enjoy the view of the deck. Today, though, we're going to be talking about what should I eat to get in shape. So in case you're just tuning in and you have no clue who I am, I'm a professional personal trainer. My name is Terri Walsh, and I worked in New York for 30 years with many celebrities and CEO types and all of that. And then I moved to Costa Rica a year ago. So here I am. And I want to use Periscope and use all the social media, and I'm spending a lot more time on it so that we can get a global conversation going about food, training, what's too much, there's that, and what's too little, there's that, and the types of issues that women experience when they are trying to get in shape. So there's different levels of getting in shape, and I created what's called the ART method, which I call a fitness practice. And it's a fitness practice rather than a program because it's something that you can do all the time without fear of injury. But today the conversation is going to be about food. The biggest and most questions that I get are about food. What do I eat? How much do I eat? How many times a day should I eat? Am I eating too much? Am I eating enough? Yeah, because here's the thing, what they say is true, you can't out-train a bad diet, you know? You know what? If you want to ask me questions, why don't tweet me questions. Okay, so this way, these things are really, really small, and I finally got a tripod for this thing. So if you have a question, tweet it to me, and I've got everything open right here, so I'll be able to see. But food is the biggest concern that most people have, and so in prefacing this discussion about food, I'll tell you my experience as a trainer for 30 years in dealing with it. I find that by and large, most women do not eat enough protein. They just don't. In fact, I can't think of any woman I've ever trained and I had to tell her to pull back on the protein. Yeah, that's never happened. So the biggest problem that women have is the protein. Getting enough protein to support the lean muscle that you want to build. And that's the other thing, building muscle. That usually freaks a woman out, the idea that she has to build muscle. Now, of course, we all have muscle. And one thing that most women get a little twisted up about in their head is that tone. When you say I don't want muscle, I just want to be toned. Well, you want muscle if you want to be toned, because the tone is muscle. So, and it's firm muscle. It's active muscle. It's healthy muscle. It's trained muscle. It's vibrant, and it is necessary to give you the tone that you want. So when you say you want to be toned, you're really saying, I want to build some muscle. So, and you need to lift some weights, and you need to eat some protein in order to do that. And as I said earlier, in my experience over the past 30 years, most women just don't eat enough protein in order to get the results they want. And it's not that hard to do. Building enough muscle and eating enough protein, it's actually a lot more fun to add things to your diet than to strip everything out. So let's see, we've got 4 minutes. So it's a lot more fun to add protein to your diet than it is to eat nothing. And so by shifting a couple of things and working on eating meals that satisfy you, you can really start to train your metabolism to respond to the training that you're doing. So let's talk about how many meals a day. And there's a whole lot of variables when it comes to how many meals a day. There's the 5 meal a day genre, and that usually goes along with figure competitions, bodybuilding, and things like that. I'd like to keep that out of the mix right now because those types of things are a full-time focused, almost full-time profession. Bodybuilding, figure competitions, those guys and those women that do that, they do that 24/7. If you're a stay-at-home mom or you've got a high-powered job and you work 50 hours, 60 hours a week, you need to be able to fit your meals in and your workouts in ways that are time efficient and make sense. So a lot of people don't have the time to be able to schedule 5 meals a day, even if they're small meals, right? So let's just start this conversation about food with a standard 3 meals a day, and that's if you can manage that, because most people that I've worked with eat randomly. That's a common problem, that meals aren't stabilized, meal times aren't stabilized, and especially where I'm from in New York, no one has stabilized meal times. So over the years, I've really become an expert at helping people find a way to make their schedule work. So here's the thing, if you are a musician and you get up at 2 p.m., that's your breakfast time. Okay, so you work from there. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast could be at 2 p.m., lunch can be at 7 p.m., and then dinner can be somewhere around 10. You go to your studio, you make your music all night, you come home and sleep, and that's a normal schedule for you. So your profession depends a lot on how your schedule is going to work. So let's just work on 3 times a day, all right? And when we're talking about the balance of protein and the fact that most women don't eat enough protein, what I usually do is this. You've got to find a way in the morning and at lunch to get most of your protein in, or at least the largest bulk of it. So let's start with your hand, and your protein on the plate, I believe, should go from your wrist to your fingertips, okay, for breakfast and lunch. And what that's going to do for breakfast and lunch, that's whenever your breakfast and lunch is, that's going to fill you up and give you a really good and satisfying meal. So I stay away from gluten and starches. They just don't work on me as I've gotten older. I'm 52 now, and I used to be able to eat pasta and bread and all of that, but around 47, that all changed. So now that's a no-go for me. So let's talk a balance of protein, vegetables, and starchy carbs. So I stay away from the starchy carbs, and I eat rice or potato 2 to 3 times a week. Other than that, it's protein and fruit or protein and vegetables at every meal. And I use my hand. Protein, and then vegetables or fruit, I measure this way. And normally, if I'm, I can't finish it all. That is, bar none, the easiest way to know what's going on your plate. You want to keep it really simple, and you don't want to be the girl at the table that's going, can I have it like this big? Can I have 4 ounces of this and 3 ounces of that? And like I said, I'm working in the scope of what I do with my fitness practice, and we want to, in the ART method and active resistance training, I counsel people to practice every day, 5 days a week, but you also get to live. You get 3 meals a day, you get to eat. I want women to eat and not feel guilty about it, and I want you to get enough protein. And here's the reason why, the main reason why, and this is the big secret, really. This is the big secret. Protein fills you up. Protein takes longer to digest. So that will keep you full between breakfast and lunch. When you eat enough protein at lunch, it keeps you full until dinner. And then, here's the thing, if you have the urge to snack, that means there was not enough protein at your meal. So that doesn't mean you have a snack. I am anti-snacks. This doesn't make me very popular with a lot of my girlfriends because everybody loves snacks. We all love snacks. But snacking every day teaches you to eat all day. And when you do that, you start to lose control over how many calories you're coming in every day. So, and I'm not a big fan of the calorie counting. And the reason why is because I think things like this, you're trying to live a healthy life, but you're trying to have some fun. Of course you want to look good. So this is what I say. I say you keep the snacks to the weekend, and when you go to a party, you go ahead and go to a party. When I go to a party, I don't ask for the less caloric alcohol. That's no fun. That's no fun. When I go to a party, I want to have some fun. I want to eat and I want to drink. And it's a party, so that's what you do at a party. You eat and drink. But every day isn't a party. And in between every meal isn't a party. And your meals can be satisfying, they can be fun, and they can be delicious. But if they are those things, you shouldn't need snacks in the middle of the day. And you want to train yourself to eat at meal times. And if you eat enough protein, you're not going to think about food until your next meal time. Those are my simple and very basic rules that I use to get people started on eating correctly. So now, admittedly, a lot of people have a hard time with giving up the snacking. When I get food diaries, I ask people to send me food diaries when I'm working with them. I ask to see them every day, and I do make you write it down every day, because when you see what you're actually doing, you think a little snack here, a little snack there, you start to forget about it, but at the end of the week, that stuff can really add up. And it's true that you cannot out-train a bad diet. So you can work out for hours a day, but if your eating isn't supporting it, it's not necessarily a waste of time. But if you want a certain amount of definition, or you're looking for an inch loss, or even if you're looking for muscle gain, you have to eat to support muscle gain as well. So it's important for women to get enough protein. And again, I'll go over it again with the hand. What's enough protein? I don't measure food. I don't have time. And most of my clients don't have time to do that either. So I use the hand. Right? You're going to have your protein be as big as your hand. And I do the same with veggies and fruits. Nobody comes to work with me because they want to lose weight because they lost they ate too many vegetables and it ended up in an extra 15 pounds. Nobody says that. Here are the culprits normally with food. Here are the culprits: dairy and complex carbs. No, sorry, simple carbs. It's dairy and carbs. And carbs are easy and carbs are delicious. Carbs are delicious, and so is dairy. It's not that you can't have them, but let me give you a little rule so that you can start to moderate the intake of your starchy carbs. So let's just say you have some sort of pasta 2 times a week, potatoes or rice once a week. So try to do that 3 times a week, and then you have 4 times a week to make up your 7 days, and you keep it to protein and vegetables or protein and fruit. And then the next question I normally get is, oh my God, there's nothing to eat. What am I gonna eat? And there's a lot of different types of protein, and there's a lot of different types of vegetables, and there's a lot of different kinds of fruit. There's a lot to eat outside of starchy carbs. There really is. So there's a couple of great blogs. One that I really love is Against All Grain. She is a genius. And that's a paleo blog. I do like paleo, but even on the paleo side, that can get a little nutty. And the nutty is normal if you're looking to get striated and ripped and you're going to CrossFit every day and you're competing. There, again, that's not what I'm talking about here today. I tend to stick to, I like the paleo idea of sticking to protein and things that are as close to their original form as you can get. That doesn't mean that's better than anything else. You have to work within your budget, but you can eat well on almost any kind of budget. And if you're on a budget, some things you can look for are frozen or organic vegetables. Those can be very reasonable and they last. The other thing I really lived on when I first moved to New York was a lot of different types of ground meat. I could get that cheap and it would last, and then I would buy the little box of Success rice and split that up. So I did that for quite a few years when I first moved to New York and had zero money. You still have to eat, and you still have to eat well. So it was a challenge, but it is doable. And the one thing you want to be careful of is getting too obsessive about it. You want to buy fresh as you can and as organic as you can manage. It's, organic, everyone has their opinion about that. Now that I can do it, I do search out for organic. And you want to do the best that you can for yourself. And that also means not going too far into the obsessive end of it. You want 3 meals a day. You want them to be structured well. I like a larger balance of protein to the vegetables and starchy carb. Carbs 3 times a week. Desserts, have desserts twice a week. Have dessert when you go out with your friends. Alcohol, not every day, but if you go out with your friends, yes, have some. Here was I'm not single now, but when I was single, here's your single girl tricks. Here's your single girl tricks. Here's what you do when you're going out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're having, you're dating, you're having a blast. You order a main course and a dessert, or you have an appetizer and drinks. Okay? That way you don't overdo it. So you can't do the whole thing, not 3 days a week, or you're going to really start to feel yourself slide, right? So you You can't do the drinks, the appetizer, the main course, and the dessert. You do that on your birthday, Christmas, holidays. But when you're dating and you're going out and having a good time, that's how you can not be the girl that's standing there drinking bubble water. You know, you can go out, have some drinks, have an appetizer. You always get the appetizer with the protein, okay? You get the most protein that you can. And again, why? Protein fills you up. And training-wise, protein helps your muscles repair. So do carbs, but protein really helps you when you're lifting. It helps you to repair and maintain your muscle mass. And you won't care about that until maybe you hit 40. You'll care about it then. Because by then, you want to make sure everything that you have is still lifted and perky. Now, that doesn't mean skinny, lifted, and perky. You can be a curvy girl and keep everything firm and tight, but you have to eat your protein, okay? So when you go out shopping, you don't skimp on the protein, okay? If you have to pick between starchy carbs, you go for rice or you go for potatoes because those cost a little bit less, and you eat those 3 times a week, and then you stock up on lots of fresh fruit. You can go with the frozen vegetables if you're on a budget. If you can get them fresh, get them fresh. And then another way to save money is to buy the different types of ground meat. You can get ground lamb, you can get ground chicken, ground pork, ground beef, and that's usually cheaper, and you can make that go further. And eggs. Eggs are genius. As far as breakfast goes, I eat eggs pretty much almost every day. And another thing that people will say, they're bored with breakfast. I get it. Sometimes it's boring. You know, not every meal can be a party. Eat it and forget about it. You have other things to do. You can have fun with dinner. I eat other things for breakfast. I'll have a turkey sandwich for breakfast. You know, you can, if you have it in you to get over the idea that breakfast food is breakfast food, lunch food is lunch food, and dinner food is dinner food, you can eat anything at any time and get in sick shape and stay in sick shape, and you won't be hungry all the time. So one of the problems that women face when they are training and getting in shape is the fact that they're hungry all the time, and that tells you you're not eating enough. You can lose weight and not be hungry, okay? That is the God's honest truth. You can eat, lose weight, and not be hungry, okay? So I hope you've enjoyed my little Periscope chat. In a couple of days, I'll upload this to YouTube. I hope you found it informative. I'm sitting a little bit away from the camera, so I couldn't really see the questions. So I'm gonna, maybe next time I'll take questions ahead of time. But I hope you enjoyed it. Go and measure for your meals. And if you have any questions, you can ask me here on Twitter, and I'm happy to answer them. All right? And have a good night from Costa Rica. Bye.